there, play by ear.
You know what I mean? Like, you never know how it turns out, bro.
I mean, think about it. There are podcasts out there with only 2 to 3 members, and they
Exactly.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
can stretch that shit out longer, even though it's a repetition process. They stretch that shit long.
See, we're live.
Yo, we live right now, and you know, it's kind of sad that we don't have Deli or Bam Bam here, but you know, we're gonna wing it anyways. And
Very disappointed he's not here. He bring the energy and everything, but
yeah.
we'll miss. Deli got the knowledge. We'll miss him too.
True.
So yo, let's do a mic check. I just want to see if you guys are good.
Test 1 2 check testing.
Check, mic check. Yo, what's up, people? I don't know if you guys can hear me very well, but welcome.
We live.
All right, yeah. So yo, what's up? Welcome to episode 18 of Nest Talk, and this is the show where we talk about some of the biggest gaming headlines, what's trending in the gaming media, and you know, welcome to season 2 of Nest Talk. We got some of the gang back together, which is great to see, and I got my guy from the UK, Joker Gamer V3.
Yo, what's up, people? Thank you for having me back, Krow. Nice to be back. And yeah, I'm looking forward to today's topics, bro. There are some few bangers in this thing, so I can't wait to talk about it. But yeah, man, I appreciate you bringing me back into the show again.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's always a pleasure to have you and your energy. And we have a special guest. We got the Nintendo stand himself, TheMelodicPunk.
Oh man. What's going on, everybody? This is the Melodic Punk, and I'm not gonna lie, gaming has been a bit slow for me this year. But there has been good things. Steam Deck is really awesome. I had made a couple good videos about that, but I've been kind of slow with the gaming content this year. I'm gonna try to pump it back out later in the year with certain game releases and all that. But in the meantime, I've been doing a lot of music-related stuff. And thank you for having me on. I've always loved doing the podcast. I've always loved doing collaborative content, and I want to be available there to talk about stuff. So let's get this ball going.
All right, yo, definitely appreciate you. And we got another special guest. We got the Gladiator, aka A Link to the Past. Appreciate you pulling up.
Yo, thanks for having me. Thanks you to the panel right now. I'm here to talk about games because I love games. And it's all about gaming for me, you know? So, yeah, I can't wait to get into it. Let's go.
Yeah,
all right, bet. Sorry, what was that, Melodic?
We like video games here?
Right. We don't know what video games are, bro. Come on.
Is anybody here an ambassador?
Nah, it's pretty easy to get it
Hell
to
yeah,
the
I'm an
ambassador, which is...
Oh, we got Gladiator the ambassador. Okay.
That's right.
It's not like the master title holds any weight any moment right now.
Yo,
but like,
hey! He's an ambassador. Throw some respect at his name, please.
Yeah.
All right, yo. So let's get into the first topic, and we're gonna go into the recent and upcoming video game releases, and we're gonna go with the Trek to Yomi. This was released back in May the 5th. And you know, when I played this game, it was a very stylistic approach. You know, it's a very cool samurai revenge story that happened in this game. And you know, the combat, while it did seem simplistic, you know, it's not too in depth. The parry timing is a bit off. You know, you're not gonna expect something like a Sifu here, but you know, overall, it's a very stylistic game. It does remind me of if you guys remember the old classic Dino Crisis or the Resident Evil 1. Like, it does remind me of that a little bit. Like, it has that isometric camera angle. But when you go into different areas across the map, I do like how it changes the camera angle. It's a pretty cool idea there. And, you know, it's a pretty nice stylistic approach to, you know, the map and everything like that. So I'm going to pass it to Joker Gamer V3. And what were your thoughts on Trek to Yomi?
Bro, Trek to Yomi, fire. And I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was playing this, like when I got this game, right, at first I was like watching the whole intro, going through all thing, everything like that, and then all of a sudden it's like, yo, I get to play in black and white. At first I was like, I don't get to see the details exactly as much, but then as I carried on playing it, I saw like little bit of details, artistic details, right, which hooked me on straight away. I love, even though at first I did not like the black and white aesthetic of it, I absolutely adore it now. I'm a big buff when it comes to like showing originality in a way, in a sense, right? And this game had that to me with the quality as well. So especially like the storytelling, right? This game is pure storytelling. Yes, the gameplay is there with the whole, you're a samurai, right? Combat's not going to be that exciting, right? You're not going to be doing backflips. It's not going to be like the Samurai Jack into this world, right? So
yeah,
they showcase that very well because these are what samurais do. And like I was telling you earlier, Krow, right? If you click that pause menu and you look at your skills, and you see all that little details about how the movements are done, this is how the movements are performed and shit like that. It's very, I don't know if you read those old martial arts scripture books, right? Like showing you the techniques and shit like that. It looks very similar to that. And I was like, yo, this game is amazing, right? And as I was playing along, bro, there are some things that I had gripes to this game about, especially with the whole enemies just running. Like, let's just say you're facing your character at the back of the wall, right? And you can't go back to a certain stage. And you're thinking, okay, I'm at the back, my back is facing the wall and stuff like that. All of a sudden, this fucking enemy will just go behind you and start fucking you up and instant kills you. And that's what I was annoyed with. But other than that, the game is solid, bro. I'm really enjoying it. If you don't, for £15, like, because I pay by pounds, right? So for £15.99, game is definitely worth every single penny, bro.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I do agree that some enemies are annoying. Like, you have the armored samurai dude, and yo, like some of these enemies, like they take like 2 or 3 parry attacks just to kill, and they're just like pretty annoying. And the fact that like there's no stagger when you attack the enemy is like, I feel like that.
So the part when you parry, the part that you parry, right? Yeah. There are some things where you stagger them. Like if you do it perfectly timed, you do stagger them, right? But like with the armored enemies, you have to do a poking move, right? In order for him to damage, like piercing move, in order to damage him. And that shit can get annoying real quick because you're trying to do that move and it just doesn't work out the way you want it to work out. I'm like, yo, come on. This is like my 15th time trying to kill this motherfucker and he's still killing me, right? But eventually when you do it, it's very, very, very rewarding knowing that, okay, and you start picking up on these small little things while you're playing it, and you're like, okay, if I can do that one more time, let me do it. And the more you practice on it, the better it gets.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you know, that one scene, I just played that video, you do see it on the screen here, that if you do the perfect parry on the armored samurai guy, it does do a little bit of a knockback. So yeah, I do get what you're talking about with that. And so Melodic, have you played this at all?
No, but I did see Aircuts for the Win live stream this game. Shout out to her. And I really like the feudal Japan aesthetic of this game. Like, reminds me of like a 2D version of Ghost of Tsushima, or like the aesthetic of the Kurosawa old samurai movies, like the Hidden, I think it was the Hidden Temple or Hidden Fortress. What was
the
that
Hidden
one?
Fortress. The Hidden Fortress.
Yeah. The reason I know that movie is because it inspired Star Wars, actually. And it looks like a really cool game. Like, the gameplay, like the combat and all that stuff, doesn't look the best. I've been hearing like a lot of mixed things about it, but visually it looks really cool. So I think it's on. Is it? Is it on Game Pass?
Sorry.
Yeah, it is on Game Pass.
Yes, it is on Game Pass. Yeah.
Yep. If I decide to re-up Game Pass, I might try this game out, because like I at least want to give it a shot to see if it's anything good for myself. But from what I've seen, it looks cool, but I'll have to give it a shot.
Yeah,
I mean, like I was saying, right? Like this is a samurai, right? Samurais don't have the most flashiest of moves, so you're
Yeah.
you're expected that anyway. And the fact is that this game actually holds to that core is what makes it good for me in my wings. Like when it comes to originality, like you're keeping it to the actual thing. So yeah, man, like I said, game reminds me of the old movies, like the Shogun, for example. I was telling you, right? It brings that kind of a characteristic, like direction of movie inspired kind of shit to me. So I'm like, yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah, this game, it definitely has a callback to the old Korean films, and you do see a few film grain going on. It's a pretty interesting stylistic approach to the game and the gameplay. But yeah, the combat is definitely, it is a bit of the weaker end, but the thing I like about it is just like you can just shut off your mind and play this game, and like it's a pretty cool chill experience, but when you get to the bosses, like that's where it gets pretty in depth, and like you gotta be on point with your parry timings and things like that.
So yeah, man, I wanna hear from the Xbox ambassador what he has to say, Mr. Gladiator. God.
First of all, put respect on my name, sir. Okay. You know what it means to be an Xbox ambassador. That means you don't even gotta play games, and you could be an Xbox ambassador. All right. I'm here to watch games, not play them. Look, here's the thing, man. When I think about this game overall, like I did play it a bit. It's on Game Pass. I tried it out. Mm-hmm. I love the idea of it. I love to have more games that are just trying to really kind of tell stories and put you in different worlds and settings. And especially after Ghost of Tsushima, having that feel, that touch for a samurai tale, having another game come out, I'm like, give me this. I can't wait, right? But I don't like the combat, and the combat really took me out of the whole loop. And I'm sure if I give it more and more time, I'd probably get into it. But the timing seems loose, and when you're in 2022 and you have all these games that have just these tight controls, especially side scrollers like this, it just, I don't know, it misses a mark, right? With that said, I think it looks great. I love the styling. The story seems very typical from the start. I don't know how crazy it gets later, but you could kind of guess, hey, what's the samurai movie gonna be about, right? And then that's kind of what they did with the game, at least in the beginning. So I don't know, if it goes really crazy later. But with that said, I don't know, man. I think this is a decent game. Definitely a game that's fun to get through Game Pass. And as an Xbox ambassador, you need to go ahead and get, Xbox Game Pass. And hopefully this will get me a free month of Xbox Game Pass just for mentioning it.
Bro, the best. $1. $1.
Yo, I'm done.
Hey, I know a way you can be an ambassador. That could get you right in there, buddy. Let's go.
Hey, man, for what I was saying, like, obviously, whoever owns an Xbox, that's the best way to play the game. If you do want to buy the game, you can go ahead and do that too. But at the same time...
Sir, I'm sorry. On Xbox, we don't buy games. Thank you.
Alright. You don't buy games, but you get to enjoy it.
So,
there you go.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you all of you one question, right? So, do you think the game is worth its money? For £15 for me, $15.99 for me. I don't know how much it is all for you all day in US dollars, but do you think it's worth the amount?
Well, I mean, I think it's more reasonable than the Sifu pricing. Like obviously the Sifu is way more in depth. Like it's much a challenging game. With all the enemy variety and things like that, and the different locales you go into. But for this, I think it is reasonably priced. Like you get the it's like an old Korean movie that you're watching. It has the Korean
Bro, I don't know what Korean movie you've been watching, but every time you keep saying Korean movies, I'm like, yeah, I want to watch one of these Korean movies that you're talking
No,
about.
it has like that anime. It has that anime old school Korean movie style to it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to send me some names of the movies, bro, that you've been watching, so I can watch that and see how it is while you're comparing it that way. But for me, like I said, it reminds me of the old Japanese movies. So that's my take on it.
But yeah, I do think it's worth the money. But this being in Game Pass is definitely a steal here, and it's worth playing. So let's actually move on to Mario Strikers, and yeah, so this game is definitely looking promising. They did reveal another announcement trailer recently, but I did notice that the map was looking a bit small. I'm not sure if this was intended to have a very small map.
Like watching the trailer for me, and also watching like certain bits of things, I was there like, listen, you know what? I'm happy that the map is not big, and I'm happy that it's quite reasonable. Actually, it's a very reasonable size of the map, right? The field and everything. Because if you look at it, the sprites itself, like the characters itself, they're not too big. First of all. Second of all, it's meant to be like a whole brawler style battle arena kind of a thing going on. So, you want as much as action as possible while you're playing this, just to make it more entertaining and fun and engaging, right? And also, if you look at it carefully, when you're seeing these characters around, they do not take up most of the thing, and it still takes a while for them to run back from one end of the pitch to the other end of the pitch, right? It's not going to be instantly like taking 3-4 steps and you're like, yo, I'm already here. You know what I mean? So you're still running around, you still got ability, still got a chance to get tackled and taken the ball off of you or bashed into and stuff like that. So it's very entertaining, and especially for kids, yo, it's even fun for them. It's like, yeah, it's not too big, it's not too long, it's not complicated, straightforward. Go have fun. That's what the intended target audience is. If you want to have fun, and if you it's kind of like Pokemon Unite, but better.
Plus,
Yeah, definitely.
I think the version of this game had like a small map as well. I haven't played Strikers Charge on the Wii, although I've heard that was like the best one, especially for online. But I think the map's always been sort of small. It's been a while since I played it, but I don't want to spend half the game running across the damn field. So it's like
exactly, it just feels like another football simulator at this point. If you have a big map, field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get you on that, Joker, where you said it does look like Pokemon Unite. And we gotta give credit to Nintendo's presentation style. Like they're always on point with their sports games. And when you see Mario doing his super move, it's kind of like in Mario Tennis Aces, how they have that set up there, and that's pretty cool. I do like the team tackle. That's a pretty cool mechanic. And apparently there's also like a customization you can go through. I think there's like a story mode where you can adjust your shooting power, your like toughness and things like that. So that's pretty cool. But let's take the elephant out of the room. I do think that when it comes to Nintendo sports games, I do think that they like to hide their AA experiences as AAA experiences with a AAA price tag. So do you think that when it comes to many of Nintendo's sports games, do you think they are pretty expensive, for being a $60 game? Do you think they are worth the price, or how do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, like, look, at the end of the day, if you have to do it that way, but it's definitely worth it, because you're gonna be having fun, tons and ends, especially if you have family members around and stuff like that. So especially when you got like little kids in your family who just come around your house just to play a goddamn game, right? And they start bugging the shit out of you. Yo, just slam one of these on, keep them happy, keep them entertained. Yeah, sure, why not? I'd rather just pay this just to keep them shut. I mean, I will end up playing this game too, when just when I want to just unwind after work or stuff like that. Like, I would pay for it. Not saying that I wouldn't. But however, would I buy it immediately? as soon as any game gets released, only a certain titles, and this will be one of those games where I'll hold back until I have someone who I can play with, and I think like, yo, this will be worth the money I'm spending on, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things for me.
Yeah, like like I do have Mario Tennis Aces. That's probably the only sports game I have. That was an alright game. I think that was still not worth the money though, but I think when it comes to Mario Strikers, I do think this is a day one purchase for me. I do like all the aspects of what it's offering. So how about you, Melodic? Like, if you take a look into the past Nintendo sports games, like we had the Mario Golf, you had Mario Tennis Aces. Like, how do you feel about the pricing of Nintendo sports games?
So I've always loved the Mario sports games. Like, I'm not really a big like sports game guy. Like, I never really cared for Madden and all that stuff. But I've always liked the whole comedic, like cartoony nature of all the Mario sports games. Mario Golf Total Tour on GameCube, I put a lot of time into. Loved Mario Power Tennis. And this game, I'm definitely going to be picking up day one just because right now it's been kind of a dry year. And this game having online and everything, I think it'll definitely, have some good, like, playability on it. Like, hopefully more people in the community actually buy this game because there was a lot of hype that I've seen on Twitter for this game specifically when it was announced. So hopefully people will shell out the money and buy it because, I mean, it's going to have cool online modes and everything like that. Mario Tennis Aces, I didn't really care too much for, but the amount of time I played with Mario Golf on Nintendo Switch, I actually really enjoyed that game. I played local multiplayer on it. I think the online could have been a tiny bit better, but the local multiplayer was a lot of fun for that game. I would only say, like, it really comes down to the individual buying these sports games. Like, do you enjoy them? Do you have friends that you're going to play with? And are you going to enjoy the single player content? Because Mario Golf single player was not very great, in my opinion. But it's really going to come down to the individual at the end of the day. And Nintendo Switch Sports was only like $40 digitally. So I played it. I play bowling every now and then on it. I enjoy it for what it is. It's just, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to whether or not it's worth it to you. I will say that the thing that I like about these Nintendo sports games is they're not throwing all these microtransactions and all-star player passes that, like, the EA sports games and all the other, like, sports simulation games are throwing at you. And the one element I've been seeing with a lot of Nintendo's multiplayer games is free content will come later on. So who knows? I think there's going to be free content available for this game as the lifespan of the game goes on. So I'm mainly getting it because I know it's going to have good multiplayer on it, and it's just, like I said, this year's been kind of dry, so Nintendo seems like they're going to be having a good year with this game.
Yeah, for sure. Nintendo is killing it this year, and they actually have more multiplayer games than Xbox right now, which is pretty surprising.
The entire, like, last gen, like,
yeah,
like multiplayer games right now.
Yeah, for sure. And all right, so let's move on to Multiverses. And
This game,
Let's go.
And yeah,
go.
we see in the trailer, we got Batman here, and then later on you do see some other characters like Shaggy show up here, and so I'm just gonna read the excerpt. So Multiverses is an all-new free-to-play platform fighter video game with an ever-expanding cast of iconic characters and legendary universes. Multiverses will feature multiple online modes, including a team-based 2v2, 1v1, and a 4-player free-for-all. So it looks like they are taking, a similar approach to like Smash Brothers and PS All Stars and things like that. So I'm gonna pass it to Joker Gamer V3. And what was your initial reaction when you saw this trailer?
Yo, Ultra Instinct Shaggy? Oh, hell yeah!
go.
Ultra Instinct Shaggy, right? That as soon as I saw Batman first, and I was like, I was not sure about this trailer, right? I saw it on Twitter, to be honest with you, and I saw like a starting clip of Batman standing there, and next minute I saw Shaggy. I was there like, yo, what the fuck is this game, right? So I carried on watching it, and then you saw Bugs Bunny pop out of the woodworks, and then all of a sudden, what's her name? Oh shit, I forgot her name.
Arya Stark.
Yeah, that's it. And she showed up, and then afterwards, like, she took away Shaggy's sandwich, and this motherfucker went Ultra Instinct. I was there like, get me in. You already sold me. You already sold it to me. All right, you already sold it to me. First of all, second of all, then I saw Tasmanian Devil. Right, I was there like, yo, that was it. That this game had me hooked on straight away. I was there. I'm gonna definitely download the game straight away. Can't wait to test out any alphas or betas that comes out, right? And then yeah, man, I'll probably invest my game. It's just gonna because childhood memories come out after watching all these characters into this trailer, and there are some characters that I'm not familiar with, like what was that red person from Steven Universe, right? The only reason I know Steven Universe is because my little nephew watches that. Right, and even I saw that
big following too, especially like here in America.
Yeah, and then afterwards, I heard about Adventure Time and I watched it, you know, and then the biggest selling point at this point was when Superman met
Let's go.
Giant, right? Iron Giant. I was there like, right, you got Iron Giant in this? Okay.
Okay, so for those who have seen Iron Giant, first of all, shame on you. But second of all, there's like this scene where he's playing with the kid and everything, and he's like, I don't want to be awesome Otama or whatever. He picks up an S from the card and he's like, I'm Superman.
Oh man, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, I'm definitely sold with the whole entire thing. And when it comes to like brawler aspect of things, I can see it being very popular amongst players around our age group, right? Between the ages of 20 and 35, almost 40, right? This target audience that they're capturing, this are definitely going to be very popular with them, because all these characters is like you grew up watching these characters, right? And also some fewer younger generations too who are interested in Batman and etc, right? I can't wait to see what this game has to offer. I hope it's not a big letdown when it comes to certain things, because I want to see this game grow, because this trailer itself, like I said, was hype. Second of all is like, looking back at all these different things, right? So they have a similar concept, like you were saying, Smash Bros, right? Cool. But also there's another one too. It's a free-to-play at the minute, and also available on Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation, called Brawlhalla, right? That's free-to-play, and it's not a big, right? And they had like character skins, rather than saying that these are the characters that was bought in it, but they had like collaborations with like wrestling, WWE. They bought some characters from WrestleMania, or wrestling. Sorry, I don't know why I said WrestleMania, but yeah, from wrestling. They also had like Hellboy in their skin, going on collaborations and stuff like that. But I hope this gives us that kind of like I wouldn't say monthly, but every 6 months or so, they just pop up out of nowhere and be like, yo, here you go. This is for the community. You know, I hear you guys. I feel what you want to play as, or whatever it is, and I can understand it. So they start introducing small little events and small little, you know, skins and characters. I'm not saying that they have to keep releasing characters every month or every 2 months or 3 months, but every now and then it'll be nice to see a new character pop up into the store and just like start having fun with it. And I really wish they have like different variation of ability type characters in there, not just a generic punch, kick, throw him off the cliff, try to win a point now, but also at the same time just having there, we know this character can use this kind of ability, why did you not implement it? I hope they do start doing those kind of things too, man.
Right, but we do need to see how the gameplay is. We didn't see any you know, glimpse of the gameplay yet. And
right, exactly.
We did have, you know, beforehand we did have the Nickelodeon fighting game, and that was inspired by Smash as well. But a lot of people, you know, in especially for those who are in the competitive scene, they didn't really like some of the mechanics of the fighting systems and that. And also, like, you're obviously gonna have like the tier lists and things like that. Like, So hopefully we have good idea of how this game is gonna look like, and if if one person's gameplay is it still has advantages over another person, another character, rather than having like tier lists like and make other characters muted and things like that.
I hope their balancing from the get-go is decent, right, of the characters. And, that's all I'm hoping for. It has to be decent. It doesn't have to be the top level. As the game progresses, like, the more player base it builds, and the more traction it gains for players. I hope
there is actually gameplay for this game.
Oh, right, I didn't know.
12th, 2022 from GameSpot.
Right, okay.
It was pro versus dev. I'll post it in the general chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just like, I hope the balancing of the characters is the main thing. Any FG fighting game, the fighting game community will tell you, hope the balancing of characters is decent from the get-go, because later on, as the players start playing it and start collecting data on which is like a certain character that's like broken for certain abilities and stuff like that, they start doing some fixes for that, just so that everyone can have fun and start playing it, right? Eventually, but when the characters get released, you're expecting it to be broken straight away, right? You're expecting it, and that's a similar thing across many games, not just fighting games in general. So let's see what they have to do, and I can't wait to see what other characters there are other than the ones that we have seen. And I'm excited, man, what the game has to offer to us, so.
Yeah, for sure. And okay, so let's actually move on to our first topic of the day here, and which is Nintendo Switch has revealed their console earnings there as of late, and they have sold 107 million units worldwide as of right now, which is a really great feat here. And I remember back then when, as soon as the PS5 and the next and also the next Xbox Series X systems were revealed, like a lot of people were downplaying the Switch, like, nah, the Switch can't compete against these top dogs. And like they always have the idea that, oh, the Switch is a side piece console, the Switch is just for kids and children, and it's a system that plays phone games. But like in all honesty, like the power isn't really the argument, and I think Nintendo has proven on that fact. And the thing is like, and also like the thing is like it's not about the power, it's how you use the hardware, right? Like in a lot of devs in the platform, they have used the hardware pretty well to their capabilities. And we have like a Capcom, for example, bring out Monster Hunter Rise. The fact that they were able to bring the RE engine on the platform, like that's a pretty huge feat right there. And you did have some pretty incredible ports like The Witcher 3 and Doom Eternal and things like that. And so does this number surprise you? And how do you think the Switch will do in the next few years? Like, do you think they're gonna go above 150 million, or how do you guys feel about the Switch's future?
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still selling every month. The Switch is going to be doing fine. Like, I think...
Yeah, I think the Switch will hold its ground, and I don't think... Look, it has a very dedicated community behind this, and for sure, every kid out there, every parent out there will definitely spend money for their kids to have this game, right? This console and the games that come with it, because it's very, like you said, it's children-oriented games, right? But however, adults do seem to enjoy playing this a lot too, and let's not take that out of the picture, because adults, they like to have fun too, right? And especially games like Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros and Pokemon, things like that. You grew up playing those kind of things, so yeah, man, it's just like, let's go ahead and play this. Especially if, like, when you're playing like a couch party kind of games, these games are awesome, right? And it's definitely like how do you call it, boredom killer. So it stops you from being bored, and you can just have fun and just switch it on and play.
Or it's like the
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe
Sorry,
What?
sorry, Melodic. You can go ahead.
Like, I've never really been the sales type of person because, I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, sales is great and all, but it's like, it really comes down to like how well the game is and everything. And it's no surprising that the Switch is still doing well. It launched well, like it launched with only Breath of the Wild pretty much at the start, but then it started to gain momentum with Mario, and then of course they started porting everything, the greatest hits library from the Wii U over, and then you got things like Smash Brothers coming out within like the second year of the Switch's release, I think. And like it's no surprising that Nintendo's selling the units they're selling. They got a lot of games coming out this summer, including a third Xenoblade, a third Splatoon, Mario Strikers. They got a new Zelda coming out in 2023. So the momentum's going to keep going, and we're in a community that cares a lot about power, and I feel it. I literally just got a new graphics card, so like I'm all for high frame rates and like, you know, great looking games and all that stuff, but the Switch serves a good purpose of just having those unique games that you can just take anywhere with you. So as long as they're creating those great Nintendo titles, like, then, you know, people are just going to keep coming. And I want to say real quick, I really wanted to talk about multiverses because I am excited. We'll keep going.
All right, cool. Yeah. So let's go with the top 5 setting.
Wait. Before
Sorry,
you
what?
say that, let's come back to multiverses after, right? I want to hear your opinion on it, and of course, I want to hear opinion from Gladiator too on that. So
We'll make that quick. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if we have time here. Yeah, so let's go over the top selling Switch games here. We have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is 45 million units sold. We have Animal Crossing New Horizons, 38 million sold. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, 28 million. Zelda Breath of the Wild, 26 million. And
Love to see it.
Pokemon Sword and Shield at 24 million. And like as you said, Joker, like this console, it does appeal to the non-gamers. Like when you have experiences like Animal Crossing New Horizons, in my opinion, I do think that game was kind of like a fad. You know, it was like a pandemic. The pandemic wave definitely held that game for a bit. That was the fad for a few months, but there are still some people, you know, still pretty heavy into Animal Crossing. But when you have these experiences like Ring Fit Adventure and Switch Sports that just recently released, like these are appealing to non-gamers and like, you know, the family and things like that, which is pretty great.
Let's be honest, right? Ring Fit Adventure appeals to the ones who want to be healthy, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they don't have time to go to the gym. But let's just put a friggin' console on and start doing it at home. It's like playing the game and doing exercise at the same time, right? So it's the same thing. And also, when it comes to like Switch Sports, that's a drinking game, bro. I'm not lying to you. That is a fucking drinking game.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
going back to Animal Crossing, I originally wasn't into it because it was kind of like one of those games that are like come and go. It's like a game that people are trying to jump on as a wave. But once I reached 100 followers on, well, no, it wasn't 100. It was once I reached affiliate on Twitch, I was like, okay, I'm gonna check out Animal Crossing. I'm gonna play the first couple days live and everything. I actually got hooked on it for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, Animal Crossing's a good palate cleanser. So it was like one of those things. Like I learned,
you know what?
Criticizing like by its cover.
You know what's funny though? Like playing Animal Crossings was like when I first had Xbox 360, right, and played Viva Pinata, right? I'm telling you, Viva Pinata was fire, right? I don't care if anyone wants to call me whatever they want to call me. It doesn't fucking bother me at all. But Viva Pinata was sick, bro. Like it's a simple, just let me do this garden up real quick. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so stupid thoughts like that. Like, yo, I want to be able to have these animals running around over here. Like pinata animals going around. Like, yeah, bro. That was one of the things. And that's what Animal Crossing reminds me of. People who enjoy that kind of games will enjoy Animal Crossing. And it's kind of like a unwinding game. You can just chill.
And playing that game with people is a lot of fun too. Like I played with a few people in the community, Keenan, Riku, Shar, aka Dren Pixel of Backlog Podcast. Like, I've played Animal Crossing with those people. I've gotten a lot of stuff from those people. Oh my god, Keenan made me filthy rich in that game. It was easy to just buy up everything. But the thing that made me stop playing it is just Nintendo and their whole policies on cloud bullshit. Because once I transferred over to like a new Switch or whatever, I lost my Animal Crossing island, so I had to start the game over. And at that point, I can't do it anymore. Like, that's like 40 hours I'm not getting back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so the thing I will say is, like, when it comes to Pokemon, I'm surprised that Pokemon is still selling pretty well. Like, yo, there's still a lot of Pokemon nerds out there, and the fact that these guys are so committed, like, yo, each and every Pokemon game selling over 20 million, that's pretty huge.
That was a game
I'll tell you honestly.
Too.
I'll tell you honestly, right? I have a friend at work. This man is genuinely, like religiously, wakes up in the morning, goes for a little walk, and he has his Pokemon Go, right? So you can imagine, he's a big Pokemon fan. He has his Pokemon Go on his phone, and is going around collecting his freaking Pokemons, right? And when they drops in an event every now and then, he actually puts his real earned money into it. Like, he buys like for like £10 every week. He goes around, meets his community, does his little collecting, whatever, doing his events and everything, and he goes out of his way to do it. Then he told me he's got a Nintendo Switch and he plays his Pokemon. That's all he's got Nintendo Switch for, just to play Pokemon. I can understand his reasoning behind it, you know what I mean? Because it was when Game Boy Color came into the picture, and ever since then, Pokemon has been a very, very, very strong game for any Nintendo devices, right? And it also hits the nostalgia factor, right? So it's one of those things, like, people just want to collect all those Pokemons as much as they want, right? Doesn't matter what game it is, what Pokemon game it is, they just want to collect those Pokemon. And that's what the Pokemon company targets. Like, that's the main selling factor for them. If it wasn't for these kind of people, that game would have been somewhere like in the range of Yu-Gi-Oh, right? I'm telling you right now, look at Yu-Gi-Oh and compare to Pokemon, right? Pokemon still is high when it comes to like games and providing all these collectible trading cards and stuff like that, right? So yeah, it holds very special to their heart, and ever since then these people will carry on buying the game, and it will never go down in sales, or it won't go down as a disappointment for them.
Right, but at this point, like, I don't know who's making these decisions, if it's Doug Bowser or someone else, but like someone's making Game Freak check out these yearly releases of Pokemon, and like Game Freak is like pretty I bet they're like pretty they're pretty stressed over like releasing their games yearly after year. And it's pretty hard on the developers as well. So how do you guys feel about them trying to push out Pokemon kind of like a Call of Duty situation? Like, is that healthy in the long run?
No, because it's gonna make a franchise stagnant, just like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was about to say, is they like, that's not a good idea for them at all, like doing it every yearly, because what content are they going to keep bringing out? What kind of stuff they're going to keep adding? Because it just feels very stale after a certain while. Like, for me, Call of Duty is very stale. Assassin's Creed, alright, cool. Again, it's the same kind of a thing, mechanic over and over again. And then, I'm not saying that Pokemon is the same, like, it isn't the same. It is, right? But the fact is that there is an adventure aspect to it, and they all know what they're expecting. But the only thing that they're looking forward to is, what is this new Pokemon that they introduced, right? And what can I do with these Pokemons and stuff like that. So, I don't think it's a very healthy option to do it every year. Right, maybe every between 3 to 4 years, defo, because people will be more hyped to see what other stuff they have added. But every year, is there like, yo, I introduced like 5 new Pokemons. Like, what the fuck are they gonna do?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You know,
It's
it's just crazy how it's a lot of Pokemon nerds still, and like they keep setting out, bro. Like when it comes to these Pokemon games. Anyways, so let's actually move on to our next topic, which is Final Fantasy 16, and we actually have a word from the creator of the Final Fantasy series. This is with Yoshida, and he does say that the next mainline game is in the final stages of development, and the dev team did spend a lot of time polishing and debugging the game. So it's a very good indicator that it may release sometime this year. You know, so that's pretty promising with Final Fantasy 16. And so how do you guys feel about Final Fantasy 16? I did look into it, and I thought this was on Xbox, but apparently it's a 1-year exclusive deal with PlayStation. So once again, bro, like Xbox can't get another W with the Final Fantasy, which is pretty sad. So how do you guys feel about Final Fantasy 16? You know, possibly releasing this holiday.
I'm not really the biggest Final Fantasy fan. I liked Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I haven't really touched all the other games and everything, but I mean, it could release this year, but the thing is like everything else is getting delayed, so who knows, this could get delayed as well. We don't even know when other games like God of War is coming out. There's not a set in stone release date for things like Hogwarts Legacy and all that. So I mean, if it comes out this year, great, because like I said, it's been a dry year in my opinion. Besides like things like Elden Ring and all that. But in terms of like it not getting an Xbox release, honestly, I blame the Xbox community. It's like if you all want these games, you got to put your money where your mouth is. You got to support these games. Like, so I gotta blame the Xbox fans for Final Fantasy not coming to that platform.
So he's saying he's saying like there wasn't that big of a sales for Final Fantasy 15. It wasn't that strong in the Xbox.
I don't know specifically on 15, but I feel like a lot of Xbox gamers don't really buy into a lot of the Japanese games, unlike PlayStation and PC. I mean, that's very anecdotal to me. I'm just kind of like throwing it out there, like especially with Twitter.
Hold your thought on that. What do you think about that, Gladiator? What do you think about it specifically? Do you think that what he's saying is correct or no?
Well, look, the reality is that Xbox players don't buy games, right? And most of the people that wanted any kind of Final Fantasy type game, those Japanese heavily oriented type games, they already bought a Switch or a PlayStation. So the audience is not currently there. People that are buying Xbox, I mean, for now, they're buying it for the value. They're buying it for the older games. They're buying it for the established franchises that are there. But when you have a game like Final Fantasy, like sure they, a group might be saying that they want these games on there, but the reality is the base doesn't, because the sales show the truth of it all. Maybe sometime in the future, Daddy Phil could go ahead and do some deal, to make up the ground and help for development for ports. But until like Xbox is really ready to shell out that money, PlayStation and Switch are going to be eating their lunch. That's it. Simple.
I mean, I played Kingdom Hearts 3 when it came out on Xbox, but I would be interested to hear the sales comparison of Kingdom Hearts 3 on Xbox versus PlayStation. Like,
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know it was something very low, and that's the point, right? Yeah. These games are just not super appealing to them. But at the same time, it's like you can't just drop one game on this platform and not have all the other ones there for all that other time, right? Like, you're not building the base on that platform. You're just kind of like, throwing this bone over there on this platform where the fans weren't really there to begin with.
I mean, because they have the fantasies.
That's very true.
Like,
That's very true. Like I said, it's like, all right, so you release it on this platform, and then afterwards you take it away from them. It's like, yeah, it's like for example, you're streaming on Twitch, right? And you start building slowly your fan base and all of that, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, fuck it, I'll go on YouTube. And then afterwards, you don't address to the communities like, yo, I'm actually not going to be streaming on Twitch anymore. And then you wonder why you're not growing on YouTube. It kind of makes sense. I can understand his point of view on that too. So yeah, definitely.
All right. So do you guys have any final words on this topic?
Brad, the last time I played Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy 9, right? Up to date, I was playing Final Fantasy 10. Let me correct that. So that was the last Final Fantasy game that I played. Second of all, I gave Final Fantasy 15 or 14 on it was on Windows on my PC, so I gave that a try. I mean, I just didn't got to playing around it completely. It's because I had so many other things that I had to focus on at that time. So after that, I really didn't play any other Final Fantasy games. And to be honest with you, Final Fantasy 16, I'm a hype for it. Visuals look great, trailers look great, right? But am I really going to look forward to it? Not really, because I have other games that I'm actually looking forward to. And those are on top of the priority over Final Fantasy 16. So for me, that's it. That I don't have any other things to say about it, really.
Yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy 7 remake, that was definitely, mind-blowing experience on the PlayStation. Like when that was first, when the trailer first dropped for that, it's very heartwarming to see, Tifa, these characters again, and in the next engine, or I'm not sure which engine they're using.
How did I know that you were gonna say T4, Krow? How did I know you were gonna say T4? Come on, bro.
Come on.
Tifa.
Come on. You know what I mean? Bringing out the waifu and shit. Alright.
Yeah, but when it comes to Final Fantasy, they I think that they are bringing it when it comes to the combat. Like the combat and visuals are definitely up there, so yeah, I am excited for Final Fantasy 16. I do hope it does come out this holiday, so that's cool to see. But this being a timed exclusive,
I just want to add.
Yep.
I do want to add to this one real quick, man. I am super hyped for this game because it's the first Final Fantasy that's going to be mature rated, and it's crazy how many of these JRPGs, they dance around these themes like, being super deadly and slavery and, all these kind of really adult themes, but they almost gloss over a lot of the harder stuff, right? So for them to actually say that this one's going to be an M rating, I want to see what they're actually going to do to push that narrative. And then you had the fact that the combat director, developed the systems for Devil May Cry 5. I'm already super excited for that combat. And there's already people that have made like YouTube videos that kind of shown some Devil May Cry footage, and they've compared it over to the Final Fantasy 16 footage, and it's like you could see a lot of those same kind of things in there, and a fully decked out battle system Final Fantasy 16 that's mature rated, exclusively for next gen systems on the wonderful PlayStation 5 with that incredible DualSense controller. This is what I'm talking about. How are we not super excited about this reality right now? What's going on?
You sold it to me. All right, now I'm definitely gonna go try it out. Like, this man just made an advert for fucking Final Fantasy 16 to be played. You know what I mean? He just brought out this script out of nowhere. Is they like, here you go, take it in your face, bitch. Go play the game. Then come and talk to me.
I'm a pony ambassador. All right, I mean Xbox ambassador. I embass games. Okay, I love gaming. Games are the best.
No, but you know what though? That's funny because I really didn't follow much about this game, 16 in particular, because, like I said, I just didn't pay much attention to it, and that's my own damn fault for it. But now that you're telling me that it's gonna be mature rated, I was there like, okay, that's interesting. First of all, I can't wait to check that out. And then also the fact is that the combat system you're telling me is like Devil May Cry. Okay, now you got me even more excited to actually go ahead and test this out. And plus, on top of that, the whole sales pitch that you just did, sold. Take my money, bitch. Take it. Take it.
Right, it's interesting that you pointed that out, Gladiator. That Devil May Cry director. I am actually playing through Devil May Cry 5 at the moment, and yeah, that's pretty interesting to hear. And yeah, the combat is definitely fire in that game, bro. Like it's crazy. And yeah, them having an emphasis on the combat and having a mature theme also is just pretty interesting as well. And so yeah, so all right, let's move on to the next topic, which is the Xbox fallout that's happening on Twitter. And apparently they are having an Xbox civil war at the moment because due to the events that happened with the Redfield and Starfield being delayed announcement. And before this came about, like the Xbots and the Xbox fanboys, they were in high spirits, and you did see the calendar meme. We had the calendar meme with the PlayStation fanboy crying between the months of March to November. But then we have the Xbox fanboy smiling on November and December.
I'll tell you.
And it's like
I'll tell you what though. Twitter gaming Twitter was already a dumpster fire for a hot mess, yeah. And then afterwards, fucking Bethesda and everyone just dropped in saying that it's gonna be delayed. And I was there like, yo, you just added a whole fuel to the fucking thing.
Fire going on.
I was just like, next minute I know, as soon as they announced that saying that it's gonna be delayed. Oh my lord, the amount of tweets that was posted by Sony fans, and then the amount of like retweets, quoted retweets by Xbox fans calling and dissing each other out. I was just like, yo, if Twitter was a fucking country, it's gone, it's done and dusted with. And I was just like sitting there and watching this whole drama unfold in real time, and all I can do is keep scrolling, read the comment, what's going on. And yo, this is fucking hilarious, bro. Twitter is just damn entertaining, that's for sure.
Let me add to something. It's sad that people are going crazy about this because you know what the thing about Redfield and Starfield is? Wait for it. We have seen no gameplay. Sorry about the ears. We have seen no gameplay for Starfield and
exactly.
There's no this game up. So if the game gets delayed, that's a good thing because probably it was going to be shit regardless if it was to drop this year. I mean, a delay is never a bad thing. It's like, yeah, it sucks that Xbox doesn't have AAA games coming out this year, but last year they had a pretty good year. Like Psychonauts 2 ended up being my game of the year, and of course they had another Forza game, which Forza comes out like every year. But it just, the whole Starfield hype is ridiculous. Like honestly, I gotta apologize to the Souls community because I thought Elden Ring was just overhyped and everything. No, like Starfield is the most overhyped game out there. It's from a studio that's had a shitty track record with Fallout 76, and we have seen nothing on this game yet. So I'm glad someone like Phil Spencer is coming in and saying, no, we're not releasing this fucking game this year because it's probably going to be shit. So who knows?
Right, I definitely feel you on
the... Say Bethesda has a shitty track record?
Fallout 76 has...
No, but like if you look at Fallout 76 now, they did make some pretty good updates to that.
Wait.
It's
like five...
That was not even their team.
One sec.
That's not even the main team.
Okay, let's go one at a time. All right, Gladiator, say your piece, bro. Say.
I'm just flabbergasted that somebody would say Bethesda doesn't make bangers. One game that came out that at launch was pretty trash. Everybody could kind of agree on that portion. They didn't even have like NPCs, like humanoid NPCs in the damn game until like later on. But that was a different game than what they've ever come out with ever before. This game is going back to form. This is basically adding a new IP to their giant roster of games, which is, well, not giant, right? But they're big two, which is the Elder Scrolls series, Fallout, and then now they want to do a space IP within that kind of atmosphere. So anybody who's a Bethesda fan who has played any of those type of games, of course they're hyped for it because this is the next real game that promises what people wanted. That single player experience that has all the multi-branch layers into it. So yeah, of course there's going to be hype for it. Now, you can't hype gameplay, right? You can't hype much outside of a sandwich trailer. But to sit here and say Bethesda hasn't made bangers, they re-released Skyrim for how many years and people still buy it? I've bought that game on 360. I've bought that game on my PS5, PS4, VR. What are we doing here?
That's true though. Like when Skyrim got released, it got released on 360, PS3, PS4, PS5, even Xbox One. I'm guessing Xbox.
One game got multiple releases. What have you done for me?
Yeah.
But the thing is I'm not saying they release bad games. Like hell, they own id Software. Doom and Doom Eternal were probably my favorite games of last generation, but I also believe that you were as good as your last game. And Fallout 76 was sold on a bunch of lies, and it's going to be hard to go into Starfield until we actually see something of it. That's just how I feel about it.
So would you say that every Call of Duty is the same?
It is. Every Call of Duty is basically the fucking same game. That's why a lot of people on Twitter criticize it. But at the same time...
So you're telling me there's not a different flavor between the different developers?
I mean, there is. Treyarch has like zombies and all that stuff, but still, it's Call of Duty at the end of the day.
Sure, the core is there, right? But clearly different developing parties are going to do different things. And, for you to call out Bethesda as trying to make it seem like, everything that comes out from them is from the same developers, it's a little disingenuous, right? The reality is they have their different teams working on different games. So it's like you follow the developers, you follow the people that are doing the good work. And just because Fallout 76 came out from Bethesda Studios, it wasn't the main studio that was doing it. The main studio's been working on Fallout. Starfield, and then of course Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be next, right? So I mean, let's keep things in perspective. Don't throw everything in one barrel.
I mean, I can understand that, but at the end of the day, it's like it's going to be a Bethesda game, so we're going to expect all these bugs and glitches and everything, unless the next creation engine is supposed to be a great upgrade. Like I said, we see nothing on this game, so at the end of the day, we just got to wait and see what it's going to be like. Because either we can go based on what we know from previous games, or we can speculate,
So, of course. So, previous game, their last game was Fallout, right? Like, it was the last Fallout. So just how a lot of people are excited about Insomniac's Spider-Man 2, they've only seen the trailer, but of course people are super hyped because they know what that game is going to more or less be like. So again, it's a very disingenuous argument to just say these developers as far as the names, but you're not taking into account that these games are classics. They last like generations. They're going to last probably longer than any game that we've played in the last, 5 years. So, of course people are going to be hyped.
I mean, we literally just said their last game was Fallout. Are we talking about Fallout 4 or are we talking about Fallout 76? Because we're talking about 76. Yes, the game might be better now, but with that game launched at such a broken state, they're going to have... Todd Howard especially, if he's trying to sell Starfield, he's going to have to do... everything to try to sell people on this game instead of just hyping up alone. It's great that everybody's
again, sir, what I said was the main team, all right? So of course Fallout 4, all right? I'm not talking about 76. We already know about 76. 76 was not a good game. It probably still is not that great. But again, you're making a very disingenuous comparison talking about coming from the studio, but it's not the main developers making the game.
But it's the public perception that's on them right now, especially since they're owned by Xbox, which have
Okay, so publicly, I told you the difference. So we're no longer a public perception right now. We're talking you and I in this panel, and for you to keep making the same argument is very disingenuous, sir.
Because we've seen nothing on Starfield. That's the main argument. We've seen nothing, so we can't really say anything until we see something. And the fact that the game probably a
So-
good
so-
thing.
We're going in
so you're-
circles.
ch-
If you
ch-
know the
turn on the-
developer, you know what they're gonna do.
Wait.
Yeah, chill on this for now. You know, yeah, we haven't seen any gameplay yet. I do agree with Melodic, but you know, it does seem promising with Starfield. I do have high hopes for Bethesda. But I did want to get into this article. We have an article with Eurogamer, and it does talk about the delays being a good thing. And so it says here that any delay is hopefully good for the work and lives of the people making the game. That's one angle I heard, and I hope it's true. I hope this delay ensures a good working environment. Someone also pointed out that delaying a game is sometimes just delaying crunch. And Bethesda's delay is bad for Game Pass, which needs big games to entice people to sign up. And now, you know, the 2022 lineup for Game Pass is looking pretty empty in general. And yeah, so
Like,
when you
I'll
think about
honestly-
it, like, you know, we have a good friend Deli here. He is crunching at the moment, and like, you know, like, we gotta think about the lives of the developers. Like, I do think that's a good point where the, you know, especially with the pandemic and everything, like, we have to take into the fact that if you're making a very ambitious game like Starfield, like, we do have to think about the amount of effort that these games take to develop, right? So how do you guys feel about this statement here?
Right. So I'll be honest with you, right? So when it comes to games, I rather have that game in a good working condition before it gets released, and if it gets delayed, it gets delayed. And all right, sure, no problem, but don't give the time frame, right, to anyone, especially saying that it's going to be released in so and so. I would say coming soon, for example, would be better, right? When it's going to drop and everything, is just wait for the developers to actually announce it until the game is in good working condition before it gets released. Second thing is, like, yes, we have to take into considerations of developers' lives, right? I'll give you a general aesthetic. I was not working in a game developing side of things, but I did end up in programming side of things, right? So I was controlling members of 16 people under my team, and I wanted to make sure that my team is in a good state of mind, happy, have a good teamwork, good rapport before they produce any kind of a project, and in order to have a good quality of program that I'm selling to consumers, for example, right? So I'm not salty, I'm not unhappy. I am kind of a bit disappointed that it's gonna get delayed, but am I unhappy about it? No, at all. Because the reason is, like I said, I'd rather have it in a very good working condition. So when I do spend money on it, or if I do pay for it, I want to be able to enjoy it for what it is, right? Sometimes it happens, like, for example, Fallout 76 or whatever it is. And then, like, look at No Man's Sky, for example, right? That's how it started off in a very shitty way, but now it's gone in a very good running process because they learned from their mistakes. They wanted to fix certain things, and now they're in a very good state of mind. And I wish the same thing for all the upcoming games and everything like that. And again, for people like Deli, I understand his pain, bro. Like, sometimes sitting in that office doing 82 hours, 83 hours, I slept in that office, waking up in the morning, showered in the friggin' office, right? And then carried on working throughout the whole entire day. I didn't even, at one point, I didn't even go home for more than 24 hours, right? And then afterwards, people and my family are not happy because I'm working so hard. Like, you know, sometimes relationship breaks up too. So it's not in a very good, healthy state of mind to be in that kind of environment. And I do feel sorry for most of the developers who have to go through all that crunch time. And I wish them luck, and I wish them, like, you know, to have a better life outside of work, so that they can enjoy other things too. And other than that, I really hope that because of this delay and whatever they have announced, when they do release it, people enjoy it to the fullest extent. They might have, there's always someone who's always going to complain regardless of what it is and how it is. But I hope majority of them enjoy it and they put out their full product so that the consumers can have fun with it for years long to come. And that's what happened with Skyrim. It got, revamped on multi-platforms many years, and people are still enjoying Skyrim. Even if you just type it in Twitch, for example, just type in Skyrim, and you'll see how many people are still playing it to this day, right? And yeah, man, I just hope them best of luck.
Yeah. All right. So when it comes to this statement, you guys have any other thoughts about it?
Take your time, release a good game, and hopefully it turns out to be good, because it's going to be like one of the first Bethesda games that gets launched into Game Pass. And like, I don't want to be that type of person that says anything bad about Game Pass, because it's a good deal, but I feel like them putting it in Game Pass I don't know how it's going to affect the quality of the game. And that's not just for Bethesda, it's for a lot of Microsoft's other titles. But I hope the game ends up being good, because I do want to check it out. It looks interesting, but given Bethesda's previous efforts with 76 and all that, it may not be the same team, but I'm just hoping the game comes out well.
And what about you, Gladiator?
Oh, put it back in the oven, because it's going to be a trash game. Bethesda makes nothing but trash games. That's all they have. They have no history of good games. And, it's going on Game Pass, so clearly it's going to be trash.
Give your money to it. Doom Eternal. That's all I got to say.
Okay, so moving on here, let's move on to our last final topic. And apparently we have gamers on Twitter criticizing Xbox ambassadors on Twitter, and apparently the term Xbox ambassador isn't as lucrative as we think it is. Like, the requirements to be an Xbox ambassador, you'd only need to have a 1500 gamer score, and the other requirements are relatively easy to qualify for as well. But yeah, we have a lot of gamers criticizing these so-called Xbox ambassadors on Twitter, and so I'm just gonna read a tweet here from Miss Dewis Greek, and she claims a high gamer score isn't a requirement to be an ambassador, nor does it mean that I don't get to play games. I don't play much, but I watch my partner who's clocked in hundreds of hours on his Xbox. That's how I get involved in games. And finally, she also says that I've never said I love Xbox because of their games. I've always loved Xbox because of what they do with gaming for everyone, and the custom controller designs, and the number one reason, the community. And like, a lot of people have flamed her with the fact that because she doesn't have a higher gamer score, that she doesn't qualify as being a gamer. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, do you need to have a baseline gamer score to be qualified as a gamer? How do you guys feel about that?
So I want to start off on this one, because I think that's also been misinterpreted, and the people that were just coming out to defend her were the ones kind of, how dare you use this gamer score towards her, right? It's not even about being a real gamer. A lot of it was calling out the fact that that she would promote and say certain things like within her live stream, and say, I've been playing this X game for hours, and then it turns out like it was like half an hour worth of playing. And there's like a history of some of those type of declarative statements within her her content that she creates. Now, right. I think that any gamer could be anything really, as long as you're holding a controller or tapping buttons, I think that makes you a gamer. But I think now there's a very disingenuous argument where a lot of people are trying to say, well, if you watch, a game on YouTube, or if you talk about games, you're a gamer. And I think now people are trying to mix all this up. And to me, it's just a bunch of corporate heads trying to push their agenda of getting more people to play, because the more people that plays, or at least buys merchandise and and gets Game Pass or gets any of their services, that's obviously more money they make. So they want to try to make it as quote unquote inclusive as possible because there's money tied to it, right? But anybody who loves the art, who's part of it, knows that there's more to being a gamer than just saying I'm a gamer, right? Like, you're in the hobby, you play it. You don't even have to do it that much, but as long as you care about what you're doing and not just posturing and being a shill to try to make some money, I think that's the problem going on.
Right, and yeah, I agree with you exactly. And the point is that, like, listen, look, even if you have a mobile phone, for example, and you just open a game on there and you carry on playing it and you put a lot of time and effort into it, do you call yourself a gamer? Yeah, you're a casual gamer, right? And that's it. You can't sit there and say like, oh, you're not a gamer because you're playing mobile games. Like, bro, it's a game. You're playing a game. Even though you might do it casually or you might do it competitively, but you're playing a game. That's what it is. And being part of it and doing it on a regular basis and just doing things is what makes you a gamer, and you're involved with it on a regular basis. All right, even though it could be just for like 10 minutes of your day or 15 minutes of your day, but you do it over the period of a year, right? You're telling me you didn't put hours into it? Yes, of course you did, right? And I mean, I don't know much about her about her or anything that she does as a content creator as much, but I think that is just a very skewed, just by hearing from you, Gladiator, I think it's very skewed on the way she presents herself. So I don't think that's the right way to go about it, to be honest.
Yeah,
and apparently with her in specific, since the topic had popped up around her, it seems that she used to play a lot more when she was a streamer, when Mixer was up. So clearly at that point, she would play a lot more multiplayer type games, and she went ahead and she said that life has been a little bit different, so she doesn't play as much as she used to. And look, granted, I think everyone could kind of understand that. Like, if you don't want to be a bad actor and you want to understand, of course, like, all of us can game 24/7, right? But the issue that came up why she came in the highlight was because the gamers that do game constantly, right? They want games. And then she made it seem like you cannot say something unless you can run a company, a CEO of a company. And if you can't do that, then you need to just accept that this person is human and going to make errors. And that was very like, what are we doing over here? Like, we're gamers, we love gaming, and we want new games. And the fact is, Xbox in 2022 is not going to provide any new first-party games, at least until we see the conference, and maybe we get Forza, right? Hey, what? Another Forza, right? But the problem is that it was very corporate shillery. It was very damage control statement when there are gamers that want something for the value that they're paying. People have paid years of Game Pass, and now there's going to be a whole year of no AAA banger first-party studio from a company that has so many developers under their toe. Like, that's a problem. And she was trying to silence people when, in her perspective, I'm just trying to bring positivity. Well, guess what? You made a statement on Twitter, and people are gonna talk back. It was simple as that.
Traction. Yeah, it's gonna create traction, especially if it comes across in a very two-faced manner, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it is definitely the way. I mean, like I said, I don't know much about her. I don't follow her. I don't even get any kind of information about her. I do see quoted tweets and screenshots, right? And yeah, man, it's very, very fine line. I guess the way she's trying to come across is like, I'm trying to be neutral and I'm trying to make you guys understand, and it's not working out for her, I guess.
Right, and
yeah, I mean, I don't agree with the dogpiling and harassment for all those people that were doing it. That's the dark side of Twitter, right?
Yeah,
but at
Twitter
the
is
same token,
nasty,
if you
bro.
put a public statement, then get ready that people are gonna say something back, right? Like there's no
You're gonna
protection.
get
on Twitter.
roasted. You're gonna get roasted regardless of how it is. So
Anything critiquing Elden Ring because people will jump on you for that. I learned that.
Yeah. So apparently she did try to make a statement about she tried to reason the fact that Starfield and Redfall is being delayed, and she did make the statement saying that number one, can you lead and manage one of the biggest brands in the world with hundreds of staff and moving pieces? Number two, the pandemic has affected everyone. And number four, he's only human. I'm not gonna. So many of these points are pretty generic. They are pretty, common logic at this point. Like with the pandemic, like obviously, that is a that is an impact. But when you have devs like Techland who's been working on Dying Light in the pandemic, and they had to move in between, like switching from their office to pandemic, working from home, and they were still able to ship out a game like that. That's remarkable on its own, right? Like, and they were able to bring out a huge ambitious game in Dying Light 2. So with the statement of her saying like the pandemic has affected everyone, like that is pretty generic as it is, right? Like we still have developers releasing games.
Games this year, like that. I think it really comes down to like how the company's being managed, rather than the pandemic messed a lot of stuff up, but all these other companies have games ready to come out this year. So it's like, the pandemic excuse only goes so far nowadays, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's just
the problem there, man.
Yeah, I think they're just hiding behind that fact. I somewhat agree, and it's like you can't just keep saying that because of pandemic this or pandemic that. Like, try saying that to other companies. They tried doing that. They still did it. Look at this game. Let's just say there is a game that we play in the community, right? In one of the communities that I play in, it's called Fault. Right, and it's a MOBA, 3D-person MOBA. Got it from Paragon, right? It's one of the Parazombies that's out there. And this company is a very small company, right? And they're called Strange Matter Studios. And during pandemic, they were all working from remote locations and everything like that, and they were still providing game for community to play. Right, so if a small company like that can handle, and there's a big company like this, who's got thousands of staff members who can all import remotely, and they got the infrastructure to do that. Yeah, for her to try and downplay that, it's just like, yeah, you kind of you threw it out there. You're ready to get roasted for it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I also think Xbox's biggest mistake is not paying off those games that were under contract that came out on PlayStation. I think Ghostwire Tokyo should have been a game that they just should have bought out whatever marketing deal, and they should have come out for Xbox this year. It's your studio, and it's embarrassing that your game is coming out on your competing platform, right? Like that's just... put up the money. If you're really going to put up the money, then provide your gamers with something. Because how do you release a system and you have 23 studios and none of those studios were able to produce a game for you, and you were betting on Todd Howard with these 2 games, which they slipped because of pandemic or whatever, but you had nothing else in your pipeline? Like that just screams like I don't know. That's a problem. And then the issue that this girl does is that she says, if you can't run a company, consider that. Can you do it? Can you do it? That's just very tone deaf.
Yeah, that's facts. And so I do want to go back into the requirement of being an ambassador. Like, do you think it does need to be stricter when it comes to these qualifications? Like 1500 gamer score, that's kind of lenient, bro. Like that's way too lenient. Do you think that should be raised, or maybe have any additional requirements to be an ambassador?
Well, let's ask another question with that. What's the benefit of being an Xbox ambassador?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, because like
So,
I mean,
Mr. Ambassador, Gladiator, go on. What do you think about it? Because I don't know. I didn't even think about joining for a Xbox Ambassador thing, program, anything like that. So it's very interesting to see what as ambassador gaining something from it, or is it something that you don't want to gain anything, and it's just like you want to represent the community kind of a thing. So.
I mean, for the most part, they give you like little custom badges that you can use. They give you like sweepstake, like tickets that you could use for a lot of the stuff that they do behind the scenes. Which, I mean, I give them a lot of credit. They actually do a lot of sweepstakes and custom systems and controllers and stuff of that nature. So they have a lot of prizes that you can get. And even one of the things is like free Game Pass for a while once you reach a certain level. So at least from the small things, they give you some stuff, right? I mean, it's there. Now, with that being said, it's not that big of a requirement to do it. So it's just being, just evangelize Xbox brand. So if somebody asks you about Xbox, you're gonna at least be that person that can introduce them and whatever. That's kind of what it all is. And every brand wants like some kind of evangelist, ambassadors for them. Mm-hmm. So this is a small little something that Xbox could give to anybody that really wants that. But of course, a lot of people that jump on this ambassador thing, it's because they wanna grow as content creators, or they want to grow as people that can do marketing deals, or maybe they send them games for reviews because they're a great ambassador, right? So that's kind of what people want out of it. It's kind of a very selfish thing, so they can grow themselves, and then Xbox just has more evangelists out there, speaking good about their brand,
promoting their products, hardware, software, you name it. So yeah, it makes more sense, I guess, as a company to have all of this kind of like Twitch ambassadors, right? So yeah, it kind of works that way. Yeah, man, it's interesting topic. Especially the fact is that you just need 1,500 game score,
which is nothing, man. Yeah.
I mean, I can play like 1 or 2 games, do like a couple of levels or something like that. I can probably achieve that score, probably a matter of week by playing just an hour or 2 every day, I guess.
Yeah, but you think about it from Xbox's point of view, right? Like if you only play that little and you still want to be an ambassador and take on what it means to be an ambassador, which is just spread the positivity and role of Xbox. Why wouldn't you want it super low so people could get in there?
I mean, that's a very cheap and very tactical strategy way of marketing their product, I guess. So, hey,
1,000%.
Mm-hmm. That's a very
now,
with that
said, strategy. We shouldn't fall for the damn shillery. That's it.
Hey, it's for them. They're not spending any money for marketing, right? In fact, they will return it back as like, what you can win, you can get a chance to win certain rewards, etc. So they're not spending so much money yet. They have so many people representing them. It's a very good marketing team for free. Is that right? So yeah, but yeah, it's very strategic in their way, in their thought process, I guess. So it's a genius move, bro. Not gonna lie to you. I wish I could do that if I had a company.
Yeah, it's a good point, and yeah, I guess it is reasonable for especially Xbox fanboys right now, since they're pretty salty right now. I guess they have a reason to clap back, but as long as they're not, harassing this person,
what?
like if they're not talking about their their family members, or like getting too deep into like harassment and things like that, like I think it's all right to like complain, but don't take it too far.
you said clap back. Like what? You gonna clap back across the community for other fans just by joining?
No, I'm saying like they are pretty depressed at the moment with the Starfield and Redfall delays, right? So that's what I mean by that.
You think that joining an ambassador is a clapback?
No. I'm talking about the fans who are like attacking her because of the delays.
Oh right,
yeah.
Got you. I thought you went the other way around. But yeah. So, anyways, let's move on from that.
Yeah. All right, so let's end up the show right here. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and let's start with our outros, and let's start with Joker Gamer V3.
Yo, appreciate you having me here, fam. Especially, we are missing another member, Deli. Yeah, if you're hearing right now, Deli, disappointed in you, bro. But I understand. You're crunch and all of that things. But yeah, man. Thank you for having me back on the show. It was great hearing a lot of insights from Melodic, Gladiator, and you, Krow. And if you ever guys want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter. You can also follow me on YouTube, but I don't have any much YouTube videos as much going on at the minute, and it's not very good either at this point. But however, I will be doing podcasts on a regular basis every weekly, and that happens to come every Mondays, and it goes under the podcast banner of 3 guys and a Brit being me and 3 guys being my homies. But yeah, if you ever interested in talking about or hearing about other things, you can go ahead and follow me. This is a podcast specifically not for gaming at all. It's just day-to-day shit. And other than that, you can always hit me up on Twitter. And but yeah, man, it was fun. It was a good episode. I appreciate you giving my input and my opinions. So thank you for that.
Yo, it's always a pleasure, Joker. I appreciate your energy, and yeah, your inputs were pretty good here also, and I appreciate that. And I'm gonna go with the TheMelodicPunk. And where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at TheMelodicPunk. I haven't been on Twitch for a bit. I don't know exactly when I'm going to come back to Twitch. Maybe I'll do a music-related stream at some point, but I've been kind of just chilling. It's been kind of a slow year for gaming for me. Like I've said at the beginning, I'm not going to, that's the thing. It's like I believe in honesty, so I'm going to sit there and tell you straight up, like, my game's beating list ain't that big this year, y'all. But didn't really have much to contribute to this show today. I wanted to talk about multiverses, but if I get into the closed alpha this Thursday, I will definitely try to make content on that. I want to try to start putting out more gaming YouTube videos at some point, but you can catch all my music related stuff on Twitter as well. I have another music channel, Trenton Walls. I have a new song out called Stranded. You can find my other songs like Odd One Out, some covers on there as well. And then I'm doing stuff on Instagram and TikTok with music related stuff and trying to get that thing going. So thank you for having me on.
Yeah, I did listen to your single, by the way. That was pretty great, man. It's a great listen. You guys should check it out. And also we have the Gladiator. Appreciate you pulling up.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm the Gladiator, and that's what I am. Yeah, Twitter, baby, let's go.
Yo, the meme god himself showed up. Yo, appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks to the panel as well too. Good convo. And yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, no doubt. And so this wraps up the show. Appreciate you guys tuning in live. And for those guys who do tune in the show later, y'all are the real MVP. Appreciate you. And this is the Theslykrow signing off. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace.
Peace.
We finished? You stopped it, right, Krow?
Okay, yeah, we're good here. Yo, man,